Welcome back. In my previous video, I played a classical 30-minute game on Lichess, and I got wiped out. And I'm going to do something I've never done before, which is play another one on the very next day. Now, I did make a mistake in my previous video when I said that I think I had lost all my classical games that I've played on camera. I went back and checked. I did win one of them. So of the 4 classical games that I've played on camera, I've lost most of them. But I'm going to do another one today, and hopefully I will do better. I missed some obvious things in the one yesterday, and hopefully I won't do that today. I'll try to pay more attention. I'll try to be more careful if I get paired. It did take me a while to get paired in the game that I played yesterday, so long that I had to pause the recording. And I'm thinking I'm going to do that again. Okay, several minutes did pass, but I did eventually get paired, and my opponent has played the normal response to the English opening, which is e5. Very often what I see here is the g6 pawn so that they can fianchetto. Also, sometimes I see one or the other of the knights come out. In most of those cases, I'm going to play my g-pawn and fianchetto my bishop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and we'll aim to fianchetto here, but they might be aiming to play that, which I can just take. They'll take the pawn with their knight. I'll put this here, and they'll take this knight. This is all normal, so I don't have to spend a lot of time contemplating those moves. Here I think I need to play e5, which is something that e4, which is what I haven't normally been doing. Okay, my opponent has played the h-pawn, which, good for them. Let's get this pawn out. What I had been doing in the past was here, but that allows them to push their pawn forward. But I think I can go ahead and put this knight here and then aim to play d4, or I could probably just play d4 straight away. Or f3. Why not play f3 now and see if their bishop wants to retract itself? I don't know how far it'll go. Probably one of those 2 squares. Wait, how do we have more time left than when we started? Did I select the increment version by mistake? Oh no, I must have. I did. Oh, I meant to do 30 plus 0, but I must have selected 30 plus 20 by mistake. Well, that's my bad. Maybe that's why it took so long to get paired. Okay, let's take here. Not sure exactly what to do about that h-pawn, but I think I want to develop my knight. I don't think I want to throw my h-pawn forward, but maybe I can put this up here and mount a little bit of an attack. They've added an attacker here. I have 2 defenders on that right now, my knight and my queen, but I was thinking about moving my knight. I definitely don't want a castle right now, I'm pretty sure. And I also don't want to put my king right in front of their queen. That seems absurd. But I could push the pawn, which I assume would encourage the queen to go somewhere. I don't know where it'll go. It might take. Yeah, now that I realized that I selected the 30 plus 20, I care a little bit less about this game because since it started with a mistake, there's no way I would use up the kind of time necessary for that. Oh, I would love it if this could check somehow right now. You know what though? I can go over here to d5, which threatens the fork, and that's a discovered attack on the queen. I don't know where it'll go, but let's do that. See if the queen, moves out of the danger from this bishop, and then I can hop my knight in there for the fork, maybe. I think that's a good idea. I have 2 threats going on here. Okay, they went back to protect it, so that was probably best for them. Now, I need to develop this bishop, but I'm not sure where. To defend that pawn? Should I come across in front of my king to defend the pawn, or should I move over here? I think if I go over there, it's unprotected, whereas this way it is protected. Oh, no, it's not. Not after I have to move my knight. Okay, maybe that wasn't the best plan. But maybe I should complete my connect 4 here. It does not look like I'm going to castle with their h-pawn up there, and I don't know if that was a mistake on their part or a decent threat. I know Stockfish often recommends the h4 push, but whenever I play it, it's wrong. Okay, they've attacked my knight with their queen. I have multiple safe places to put it, but if I put it there, I'm pretty sure what they're aiming for is to get their knight here to do this fork, because that's the only reason I ever see this bishop coming out to right there is to protect this spot for that knight. So I need to think about that, and I'm going to use my time. But they are also attacking the knight. So I could defend the knight, but then they can check me with their bishop, and I can't take it. Oh no, then I could take it with the knight. Why don't I do that? And then that way I have 2 defenders on this square, and I'm protecting the knight. Is that good? Since I can't immediately challenge their bishop? Okay, let's do that. Hopefully that's not a bad idea. I do know that they can threaten my queen here, but then I could check, I guess. I know that doesn't keep their knight from coming here, but again, I think I can take it. And this means that they probably Won't take my knight with their queen. Oh, but they might back up their bishop there to pin. And then the only way that I could add another defender to the knight would be to push my f pawn, which I was considering doing anyway. Okay. They've moved up one. Oh, maybe to get a rook behind it. Okay. I understand. I guess they didn't think of trying to pin the knight. Should I move the knight now? That's a question. Like back here. But no, I wanted to put the pawn there. But I don't know if that's a good idea. I know what I do not want to do, pretty sure, is move my queen here because then they can hit it. Oh, but then I could take it. Okay. Oh, and I don't want to move my queen because it's the only thing defending the knight. Well, then what if I move my bishop out so that I can drop the knight back and threaten their bishop? Is that good? That definitely keeps them from castling queenside if that was their idea by, of pushing their queen up one. They can push the pawn, but I guess I could take it. But then they could check me. Not sure how this is going to go. I do know that that's way too much time for someone at my level or someone who thinks the way that I do. I'm trying to use the time wisely and trying to get this down under 30 minutes, but I just don't know how to use that much time. Well, that bishop move of mine gave my opponent something to think about. While waiting for them to move, I checked their profile. Okay, they've taken a pawn. That's probably not bad since I just undefended it. I did check their profile, is what I was about to say, and they're rated lower than me in some other time controls, but that seems like a pretty good move. I just undefended that pawn, so that was probably a good idea on their part. What can I do now? I guess I can just slide up one, but that still allows the fork, which now I just talked about that. Can I not stop that? Oh, wow. Maybe I can't stop the fork now. They're going to get even if I move my queen out of danger, they're going to hop their knight right here. That seems like something that they could do, and they did. So good job, I guess. Good job to my opponent. Don't know what to do about it. I have to save my queen, though. So you know what? What if, since I am taking my time, what if I took this pawn? That still defends the knight, threatens their rook. They have to protect their rook, and then I can bring this rook over, maybe? I don't know if that's good or not. Let's try it. They can check me still and get they can do that, and they might. But I couldn't figure out a way to stop that. But they might try to save this first, which I assume means moving it over or bringing the queen down to defend it. Okay, they did move it over, so now I should be able to stop this problem here. Oh, wait. Check. They can't move the king. They have to take it. That's got to be good, right? I probably should have taken a little bit more time on that, but I'm pretty sure they can't move their king. The only way out of check is to take the knight, and then I get their queen, which hopefully will be disappointing to my opponent. They did. Okay. Their queen is gone. They can still fork me, and I think when they do, I'll just move my king up here. Yeah. I think we're just up here. Here. If I move up here, they can check me with the rook, which they have now brought over. So I'll have to be careful. Okay, let's try that. They might check me with the rook, which will force my king to move first. Oh, no, they can't check me with the rook. I just realized my bishop's here. Okay, I was going to say if my bishop wasn't there and they checked me, I couldn't come to any of these squares, so I'd have to block off the other rook from protecting that rook. But I do have the bishop guarding d2, so that's good. And I can't mate them right now because their bishop is protecting that square, but I can... Let's see, I can't throw in a check yet because their bishop can still go there. Let's go ahead and take that knight, which leaves me still up a little material. A queen and a pawn for a rook. That's pretty good, I think. And if they don't move their rook soon, I'm going to get it. So they need to put it somewhere. Maybe they'll come after this pawn. They didn't. Okay, well then I'm going to take their rook, aren't I? Oh, no. I'm going to take the rook with my queen. That's mate. Oh, wow. I almost just gave up my bishop for the rook, which would have been a little bit good for me, but mate's better. I won one. I'm going to guess I messed up multiple times in this opening. Let's just click the analysis, which is right over here. If you're not familiar with Lichess, I think that's the only way to run the analysis on these games. Wait, you know what? You know what, though? I would like a way, and there might be one, and I just don't know it yet. I would like a way to go to the analysis board with this game without it running that little game review. I don't think that's what they call it here, like they do on chess.com. But I would like to just go to the analysis board with the eval bar without it, figuring out which of my moves are a mistake. Can I do that here? I think that's the same link as this down here. The URL that's popped up in my lower left is the same. So I think it's going to run Okay, it doesn't have to run the computer analysis down here. I think that's what I was mistaking before, that I don't have to run that. I can just turn on lines here. Oh, I have to back up. Okay. Yeah, so I don't have to run that. Well, that's handy. But I think once you do run that, there's no way to get rid of the annotations that pop up in the move list. So I'm going to try to remember to not run that from now on so I can analyze these games the way that I want to. Except there's no way to show the eval bar without showing the lines. I don't think. Can I turn off the lines? Oh, I can. Okay. 0 lines, but eval bar on. I'm learning something new. I didn't know I could do this before. And hopefully the fact that I'm running Stockfish at the same time as recording will not mess up my video sync like it has in the past. My opponent played normally. I know for a fact that this part is all normal and it's really close to even. That I don't think is best, and I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to take. It stayed pretty, it stayed pretty close to even there. They usually take back. I put my bishop out. They take the knight. Not always, but usually take the knight, and I take back. And I have a very, very slight advantage. Okay, I was pretty sure all of that I have seen before exactly. That I don't think I had seen before, and this does confirm that that was possibly inaccurate. And I'm curious how much the eval is going to drop once I play my next move. What I played here was e4. And what I was trying to explain during the game is that I have in the past a lot of times played e3 because that's what I always do in the English. But the English has changed at this point, and I need to play e4, I think. How much does the eval drop? Okay, that wasn't my best move. Interesting. Let's now look at the lines. I'm going to give myself 2 lines here. Well, I was wrong. I had to play knight to f3 or h4. Interestingly, h4 doesn't have a continuation, so I'm curious as to what it would say if I did play h4. Okay, now there's some continuations, like c5, knight to c6. Okay, backing up. What if I had known that I should have played knight to f3 here before? I couldn't have known that because I've never seen this at this stage in the game before, I'm pretty sure. But if I had played knight to f3, well, why won't they push this pawn? Because that's the reason that I wouldn't have considered it there. And in fact, if I considered it, I'm sure I didn't have time to say anything. I think I briefly thought, oh no, they can push that pawn. But why wouldn't they? Because of queen to a4 check, which wins the pawn. They can block with the knight, they can block with the bishop, they can block with the pawn or the knight over here, and then I would take this pawn with check. That's why they wouldn't push the pawn. Okay, so this was definitely not my best move. Now my opponent has a slight advantage. Okay, whoops, no, I meant to leave those on, but the line's off. Still getting used to this. Okay, but when they put their bishop over here, it took us back to even. And I don't know if f3 was my best move or if knight to f3 was my best move. It stayed at about even, so that must have been okay. They dropped it back, we're still even. And then here I played d4. And I don't know if I should have put the knight out first or not. Let's see what the eval bar does. Okay, that was not my best move. Guessing I should have played knight to f3 then, or knight to e2. I can't play knight to f3. What if we put on 2 lines? Nope, I should have played rook to b1 is my best move. Well, I never would have guessed that, or f4. What? Neither one of those makes sense to me. Okay, well, that was a mistake to turn on the lines at that point. So I played that. My opponent, again, has a little bit of an advantage, but they take, and I guess they were supposed to. I take back, minus 0.6 or 5. Knight to f6 gives me an advantage. So that was at least inaccurate, if not a mistake, to flip that much. Should I have just pushed forward? Oh, what's the eval bar? Just out of curiosity, what would it have done if I had played this? Okay, that would not have been good. Okay, so what I played was better than that. Happy for that. That was at least inaccurate because it put us at +1 for the first time. Now my big question is, should I have castled? Because what I did play was e5. That wasn't it. Okay, I need to know here. I really didn't want to castle here, but I'm going to turn on the lines again. h4. Castling is almost as good. But it says if I would have castled, they would have played h4, and that's why I wouldn't have castled. Now I am kind of missing the graph that the computer analysis gives me because it lets me skip ahead. But you know what? I'm just going to go here. That took us near even. We're at about even. Knight to f4 was my best move, and they should have dropped it back 1 to h7. But instead they moved up, which was bad because it allowed knight to e6. I didn't even think of that. But I think I understand why that's better than what I played. What I played was knight to d5, and I think the problem with that is it allowed them to go back and protect their c7 pawn. But if I play knight to e6, as the engine suggests, they can't go back and protect the c7 pawn. And it's a double attack on the queen from both pieces. It says if I played that, they would have checked me, and I would have just come up 1 to f2. Then they would have gotten out of danger from both my knight and my bishop. And then I'm guessing, yep, and then I would have taken the c7 pawn. That I do understand. It's a little bit complicated, especially once you throw in the check. But not only is it a double attack on the queen, it prevents the queen from going back to defending the c7 pawn. Okay, I understand. This took us back to about +1, which is fine, and that was their best move. I need to move one of my pieces to e3, it says, and I did. I moved that piece to e3. Okay, that was their best move, and I should have played f4 now. Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't play f4 until much later, or knight to f4. Wait a minute, if we back up, weren't we at... Oh, I misunderstood. I thought those two were about the same, but no, knight to e3 was definitely better here, because this took us down underneath 0.5, and then that was their best move, which took us even closer to even, and this gave my opponent a huge advantage. Okay, so that was a blunder, because here I had to play f4 or knight to f4. I think I mentioned it at about that time that I wanted to push that pawn, but instead I thought they were attacking my knight. Wait a minute. If I had played f4, wouldn't they have taken... Oh, my bishop would have been protecting my knight. I understand that too. Okay, so I protected my knight this way, which is bad because they can play bishop to e6, which is... Nope, not that one. This one. Okay, now I did wonder about that. If they had played that, then I would have had to have played f4, but then they would have played knight to b4, and I could not have defended the knight again. Okay, I get that. And I did feel a little bit, I felt like that was a little dangerous because I know I mentioned them putting the bishop on e6, pinning the knight, and having two attackers on there. But then f4 would have defended, but then knight to b4, I couldn't have stopped. I would have lost a piece. Had my opponent seen that, but they didn't see it, and I should have played f4 now. But instead I did that. That was also a blunder because they can just play f6. Well, see, I thought that this pawn would prevent them from playing f6. But it says if they did that and I took, then they would castle long. But they took the pawn, which allowed... Okay, that was my best move. Good. Oh, I'm so glad I found that. And they should not have... Okay, I wondered about this. Should they have gone ahead and forked me? Because I would have had to have gotten out of check. Then they would have taken my rook. But then I would have taken their rook with check. I think I might have come out ahead if they had done that. But instead... Okay, that is their second best move. And yeah, I would have been slightly ahead there. Okay. But they went to rook here. Okay, it says they should have gone to c8. Which is kind of what I thought. This, going all the way to d8, traps their king, was a huge blunder, and I'm so glad I found that, because they have to take. And I'm ahead. They're supposed to immediately challenge me because their bishop is guarding that. Had they done that, I think I would have taken this pawn. But it says I would not. It says I just would have moved over one. And this, okay, again here I wondered, but it says it really doesn't matter, f2 or e2. And should they have checked me? It's their second best move to check me, but it's not their best move. Their best move is to threaten my queen, but they couldn't help themselves by taking the knight. And I missed mate in one here because I didn't see that too late. I didn't see that in time. I had a mate in one, and I didn't see it until the next turn because I just had to take that knight back. But now I don't have a mate anymore if they play rook to c8. Wow. Okay. So yeah, here they should definitely not have taken the rook because of the check. That's the other reason they had to move over. Because I have a mate, but because I took their knight, they can still save it, but they didn't see it. And I finally did. I was just about to take the rook. Okay. I was just about to take the rook with the bishop. Well, now I've won 2 of my 5 videoed games at this time control. Although this time control was, yeah, neither one of us made it under 30 minutes in this game because I clicked the wrong thing on the front page. Okay. Well, thank you for spending your time here. Hopefully you got something out of this or can contribute something, which not only me, but other people who occasionally look at the comments might get something out of your helpfulness. Whether you do or you don't, I do appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.